It was supposed to be a fun night. My best friend's hen night. Laughter, drinks, music, dancing, the usual celebration before her wedding. I'd promised myself I'd relax, let loose, and forget about the stress of work, the tension at home, the small cracks that had been growing in my marriage for months. I didn't expect him to show up. Not physically, of course. He was supposed to be at home, working late as usual. But he showed up in my mind every time someone flirted with me, every time a stranger whispered something suggestive or laughed a little too close. I told myself I was being careful, responsible, that nothing would happen. But there's a strange freedom in anonymity. In a room full of strangers, where no one knows your story, your reputation, or your life. I let my guard down. I laughed too loudly. I danced too close. I flirted. Just harmless fun, I told myself. Just a temporary escape. That's when I felt it. The message. A text from him. "Where are you?" I rolled my eyes and typed back, "Having fun, don't worry." The response came almost immediately. "Stop pretending. You know better." I froze. My pulse quickened. My heart sank. Not because I had done anything concrete, but because he knew. Somehow he knew the lines I was flirting with, the way I was testing boundaries, even if only emotionally. I tried to shake it off. Another drink, another laugh, another song. But the night had changed. The fun felt hollow. Every joke, every gesture, every glance carried a weight I hadn't expected. When I got home, the house was dark. Too dark. Too quiet. Too empty. I dropped my keys and coat by the door, thinking he was working late, but then I heard it. The creak of the floorboards upstairs. "Welcome home," he said, calm, steady, almost unnervingly so. I froze. Not because he was angry, not because he shouted, but because I could tell immediately. He knew everything. Not as a suspicion, not as a hunch, but with certainty. "I saw your messages," he said quietly. "I saw the way you carried yourself tonight." My chest tightened. My hands trembled. I tried to speak, to explain, but the words wouldn't come. He continued, "You think harmless fun is harmless. That exploring attention from strangers won't leave traces. But it does. Always." I swallowed hard. It's nothing. I didn't." He cut me off gently but firmly. "It's exactly why we're here. Not to punish, not to shame, but to face what's happening between us, between you and me. You made a choice tonight, even if you don't see it that way." I couldn't meet his eyes. They were calm, piercing, unyielding. I realized then that this wasn't about anger. It wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. And the truth was undeniable. "You have to understand," he said. "I love you. But I also can't ignore what could destroy us if left unchecked. You need to face the consequences of your choices." I felt tears prick the corners of my eyes. Not because he yelled, not because he demanded, but because he saw me, really saw me. My boundaries, my temptations, my regrets, all of it. "I don't know if I'm ready," I whispered. "You are," he replied. "We always are, the moment we stop hiding from ourselves." For the rest of the night we talked, not arguing, not fighting, not blaming, just talking. About trust, about respect, about boundaries, about how easily fun can become betrayal if we're not careful, even emotionally. About how intimacy and honesty aren't just about physical fidelity. They're about connection, attention, and being present. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't easy. But it was necessary. By morning, the tension hadn't disappeared completely, but a new clarity had emerged. We both knew the fragile line we were walking, but we also knew that accountability, honesty, and facing choices head-on mattered more than pretending nothing had happened. That night changed everything. Not because I partied with strangers, not because he caught me, but because we stopped hiding from the truth. Because we stopped pretending that small slips, emotional or otherwise, don't matter. Because we realize that the heart of betrayal isn't always cheating. It's avoidance, disconnection, and refusing to face the reality of our own desires and mistakes. And as I looked at him that morning, I realized that consequences aren't always punishment. Sometimes they're the wake-up call you need to rebuild, reconnect, and prevent a lifetime of regret. I had fun at the hen night, yes. But what I learned afterward was far more important than any fleeting thrill. It was about trust. It was about love. And most of all, it was about facing the truth before it destroys everything you value.